Your life as a geisha would not begin with glamour or mystery, but with patience, routine, and a calm acceptance of tradition that stretches back centuries. In the old streets of Kyoto, where wooden houses breathe softly at night, and paper lanterns sway without urgency, the world would invite you to slow your thoughts and let history settle gently around you. As a child entering an okiya, the geisha house, your days would follow a predictable rhythm. You would wake early, not to excitement, but to quiet chores that taught discipline without words. Sweeping wooden floors, folding fabrics, carrying water, and watching elders move with effortless grace would slowly shape your understanding of place and purpose. No one would rush you. Time would stretch, and repetition would become comforting. Like the steady ticking of a clock meant to lull rather than alarm. Training would not arrive all at once. It would seep into your life gradually, the way night settles over a city. Music lessons would begin with simple notes on the shamisen, repeated again and again until your fingers remembered them without effort. Dance would be taught not as performance, but as control, each movement small and measured, designed to appear effortless. Even silence would be a lesson, teaching you when not to speak, when to listen, and how stillness itself could communicate respect. Meals would be modest and carefully prepared, eaten at regular times that rarely changed. Rice, vegetables, and soup would provide quiet nourishment, never indulgence. The predictability of food would become soothing, marking the passage of each day without surprise. Seasonal changes would matter more than personal moods, teaching you to notice the subtle differences in air, light, and sound as the year slowly turned. As you grew older, your role would shift, though never abruptly. Becoming a maiko, an apprentice geisha, would mean longer hours of practice and stricter expectations. Your kimono would be heavier now, layered and tied in ways that required assistance and patience. Dressing would take time, and that time itself would become part of your life's calm structure. You would learn to move slowly, not out of choice, but necessity, and slowness would become natural. Your hair would be styled in traditional forms, held in place by wax and ornaments that demanded careful sleep positions. Nights would not be for restlessness. You would learn to sleep still, head supported to preserve the day's careful work. Even sleep would become disciplined, turning rest into another quiet ritual that closed each day with consistency. Social lessons would be woven into everything. Conversation would be gentle, never rushed, never loud. You would learn how to speak just enough, how to respond with a smile rather than words, and how to make others feel at ease without revealing much of yourself. This emotional distance would not feel cold, but protective, like a screen that allowed calm to flow outward while keeping your inner world undisturbed. Entertainment districts would glow softly at night, but your experience of them would remain measured. Walking through narrow streets, the sound of your wooden sandals would echo in steady rhythm, almost like a lullaby for anyone listening. Inside tea houses, evenings would unfold slowly. There would be no sudden excitement, only carefully planned conversation. Music played at an unhurried pace, and laughter kept polite and light. Guests would come and go, their lives full of concerns and ambitions that felt distant from your own. You would listen without judgment, offering comfort through presence rather than advice. The hours would pass quietly, marked by the pouring of tea, the adjustment of sleeves, and the soft hum of instruments. Nothing would be meant to surprise. Everything would be designed to soothe. As a full geisha, your life would settle into a stable pattern that rarely changed. You would no longer practice endlessly, but you would still refine. Improvement would never end, yet it would never feel urgent. Each day would resemble the last, and that sameness would bring peace. You would wake, prepare, perform, return, and rest, the cycle repeating with gentle reliability. Seasons would guide your appearance and behavior. In spring, lighter colors and floral designs would mirror blossoms that quietly fall without drama. Summer would bring thinner fabrics and cooler tones, matching the slower pace of hot evenings. Autumn would deepen colors, reflecting falling leaves and earlier sunsets. Winter would wrap everything in layers, sound and stillness, encouraging introspection and calm. Your relationships would remain formal yet steady. Friendships within the okia would be built on shared routine rather than emotional confession. Respect would replace intimacy, and harmony would be valued above personal expression. Conflicts would be rare, not because they never arose, but because tradition left little room for disruption. Problems would be absorbed into the structure of daily life, softened by time. Money would exist as a background concern, managed by the house rather than by you. This distance from financial worry would allow your focus to remain narrow and quiet. Your world would be small by design, consisting of familiar streets, familiar faces, and familiar expectations. Adventure would not be missing. It simply would not be required. As years passed, your movements would grow slower, your presence calmer. Younger apprentices would watch you the way you once watched others, learning not through explanation but observation. You would become part of the atmosphere, a steady figure who belonged to the rhythm of the place. Your importance would be subtle, like background music that goes unnoticed yet would be missed if gone. Eventually, retirement would arrive without ceremony. There would be no dramatic farewell, only a gradual stepping back. Teaching, advising, or simply existing within the community would replace performance. Your days would grow even quieter, filled with familiar routines that ask nothing new of you. Looking back, your life as a geisha would not feel exciting or dramatic. It would feel even, controlled, and deliberately uneventful. And that would be its comfort. In a world that often demands speed and change, this life would offer repetition, restraint, and calm. Each day would blend into the next, forming a long, gentle stream of moments designed not to wake the mind, but to ease it into rest.
Like, subscribe, comment, and share this video.